In case of you haven't noticed, but there's an election coming up this year in the United States between two candidates, or at least two candidates from what we can see right now. For the Republican nomination, currently it is Donald Trump, who is, I think it's his third time running for president this time around, which is insane. And then we have Kamala Harris. Now, I'm not very much of a political person. I do make political satire videos. It's just like a way to get a reaction out of people because I like doing that. It's funny. But this is going to be a foundational election for, I would say, both parties. Currently, I think there is a dynamic shift in the politics of both parties, those being Democrats and Republicans. I am currently seeing, or at least I'm predicting, within the next couple years, I can expect the Republicans to have not as conservative of a political stance as they have in the past. If you can remember, say maybe 10, 15 years ago, the Republicans were totally against abortion, had a, or at least I think from the time, they had a stance of banning abortion on the national and federal level. However, this time the Republicans are now supporting the stance and the notion of leaving abortion back to the states. This is just an example of backsliding from conservative to more moderate. And a change in the Democrat Party that I'm at least observing now is that, say, 10, 15 years ago, they were much more of a center, maybe center-left party. But now they're, I would say, drifting more into more socialist and more liberal ideologies. Those being, I really don't quite know off the top of my head. I'm not a political expert, just someone who wants to talk about it. And also considering I have a channel of 580 something subscribers, at least at this moment in time. So I can talk about this stuff and at least have someone hear about it. It's kind of cool. But those are the two big changes I'm seeing. For Republicans, not becoming as conservative, more moderate. And vice versa for the Democrats, becoming less moderate and more liberal, socialist, whatever the term is. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. Personally, I am more biased when it comes to conservative policies. Let me explain that. So I am socially conservative, meaning I want to support normal traditional values such as the nuclear family and other things such as that. However, when it comes to economic policy, I tend to support more, I would say, liberal legislative laws, such as redistributing the way we use our funds, the way the government spends its money. While I agree that the United States should have a substantial military to protect ourselves and our allies, because we do have commitments as the world superpower, I also think that it's important that we redistribute some of the funds that we would towards the military and other social programs, not just the military, and redistribute it into welfare and to certain economic programs that's giving money back to the American people. Because explain this to me. Why is it that in states such as Bulgaria and Denmark and other European countries that have abundant social welfare programs, how is it that they are able to support mothers from paid maternity leave and fathers for paid paternity leave and other needs such as that? While America, the world's superpower, and I believe containing like a quarter of the world's economy, why is it that we aren't able to support our own people? Why is that? I don't know. So, I guess that makes a lot more sense to me now. However, there are also a couple more things we need to consider. One of those being is our right to vote. Our right to vote as natural Americans. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're from. It doesn't matter what political view you're from. We are in a republic that is supported by democratic principles. Now, what am I talking about? The one main issue I'm having with our democracy nowadays is gerrymandering. I think that that can disproportionately affect the vote of local populations, such as, say, in Alabama or California, or maybe even Washington, because there has been very bad reports of gerrymandering out there. I think, like in one district, they recently changed it, or I don't know. I'd have to really take a look at the news. But anyways, gerrymandering is a way for one party to disproportionately affect the vote to where in certain electoral districts, such as the House of Representatives, one party will be elected more in that specific district because they're drawing the lines in disproportionate ways, basically being biased towards them so that their candidate can be elected towards office. And this isn't a Republican issue or Democrat issue. This is just a political issue that has been affecting all sides of the political compass, which needs to be stopped. Now, another thing I would like to address is the attack on free speech and protesting. Recently, if you haven't taken a look, such as things on Twitter or the news or any other type of social media outlet, whichever you prescribe to, currently a lot of things are being broadcasted as hate speech. Now, as an American, I think we need to uphold the Constitution and the Bill of Rights to the highest degree possible. That being upholding the First Amendment as well, being freedom of speech. Now, let me go ahead and say this. Not all speech is necessarily good. Neither is all speech necessarily need to be said. However, the First Amendment guarantees a right to say whatever you want, essentially, as long as it's not like a threat or like a, I don't really know what the term is, basically like a threat towards a certain group of people or towards a person. Then that's just a threat, and that's not freedom of speech, not being protected underneath the First Amendment. But what I've seen recently is that people are classifying expressions, even if they're wrong, as hate speech and criminal. Now, I guess what I'm trying to represent here is no matter how bad the speech, as long as it's not threatening towards people, I think it's fine, even if it's wrong or I don't agree with it. I could use many examples. Unfortunately, there's too many to note. I guess what I'm trying to say is that as Americans, we need to be careful because the moment we start saying that certain type of rhetoric or talking point that we don't agree with is criminal and should be eradicated, that's when we can slide into tyranny. Because here's the thing, controlling the right narrative or controlling, I guess, the right of speech is how many governments slide into tyranny and despotism and authoritarianism. Ultimately, that is one of the main fears that I'm scared of for the United States. And it's not even matter of who's in office or a matter of what party's in office. My main concern is that we need the United States to always be a republic supported by democratic principle and not go into this political dogma which ultimately divides us. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, another point I was wanting to talk about is how the government is attacking our right to protest. I'm going to go ahead and say this one thing. There is a certain way. Sorry, let me adjust this mic here. Alrighty. There is a certain way we, sovereign citizens of the United States of America, our union that we are a part of and that we formed nearly 200 years ago, there is a certain way we are able to protest and that we should protest. Peacefully, not aggressively. If you can remember in the past couple of years, I really am not able to think of a specific example at the moment. In the past couple of years, people have protested, but it's been violent. It starts out as a protest, and it like evolves to a riot. They start looting local shops. It hurts the local economy. That is the wrong way of protest. We, as Americans, do not protest aggressively. Protest peacefully. Think of Martin Luther King or many of these other great American examples. People who have corrected the wrongs of a nation through peaceful protests. That is the way we get our voice heard. We peacefully protest and we get out and we vote. Whatever political policy or notion you support. I'm not here to get involved in that dogma. That's like Steven Crowder or whatever other YouTuber there is. But basically, we need to be careful and we need to always make sure that we are participating in our local democracy, or, I mean, republic supported by democratic principles. I don't know. There's a big difference between a democracy and a republic. Fortunately, I don't know the difference. But I will know the difference eventually, and I will make a video depicting the differences. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that as Americans, we need to always be able to uphold what is right. And we must always be able to uphold what is good for our nation. And what's good for our nation? Being fair, being equal, being able to come together as fellow citizens of our great nation, and where we can talk about certain issues that most of us disagree with, and to where we can find a compromise that is ultimately best for both parties and best for our nation. That is one thing that's scaring me about this new election. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if you support Trump or Harris. We cannot hate each other. That's horrible. And even as someone who believes in traditional values such as low taxes, value of the nuclear family, and value of supporting people, I think it's important. I think it's important that we not use derogatory language towards one another, because ultimately, if both parties hate each other, we're never going to get to a point where we can agree to each other and get to a point of national unity that we had years ago. So I suppose that's what this video is about. This upcoming election, vote for who you're going to vote for. But all of that rivalry, leave it at the ballot box. We don't have time for that for our nation. We don't have time for that in our daily lives as Americans. Next election, leave your opinions and leave political dogma and whatever you have to say about your fellow people, leave it at the ballot box. That's what it's for. You vote for who you want to vote for. You vote for what you want in your ideal version of America. That's all changed. All changes from person to person. You vote for who you want to vote for, and you leave it at the ballot box. You go upon with your life. You go upon with your life for the next 4 years, working, providing for your kids, or if you have a family, providing for your friends, whatever you might do. That's what it's supposed to be. Because ultimately, as Americans, if we are not able to unify and we're not able to come together once again and support a nation, if we continue to be divisive and continue to hate each other in the ways that we hate each other now, I don't think America would potentially be a country in our future. Because here's the thing, all empires do eventually fall. I just don't want to see our empire fall within my lifetime. Now, here's the thing, I use the term empire as a metaphor. I don't think America is actually an empire, it's a republic. What I'm trying to say is that all great countries do eventually fall. I just don't want to see my great country fall within our lifetime. As a final remark, all people that are watching this video and all people that will watch this video, hopefully it reaches a wide audience, we need to be unified. We don't need to be divisive and derogatory one another. That's what America was built on, so that we can all be different. It's a melting pot of culture, religions, faiths. I guess what I'm trying to say is let's try to be more mindful and polite to one another, despite what we might believe in, despite what side of politics, what party, what ideology you subscribe to. And there is a time for open dialogue for that. And I think that time is coming soon. So yeah, basically, for the 2024 election, be careful, vote for who you're going to vote for, and keep on loving our fellow Americans, because at the end of the day, that's all we have. We have each other. So yeah, that's my video. And make sure to uh, check out all the rest of my content. Believe me, it's very diverse. I have gaming videos. I have videos where I'm essentially rage baiting people just to get a reaction because I find that to be funny. Forgive me on that. And yeah, just check out all my other content, and hopefully you found this video to be helpful or you found some type of value in it, and hopefully you guys have a good day and be safe. This is It's Papa Kratz signing out.